Hello everyone and welcome back to another One Piece Chris video. Today we're going to go through every single part for the 12th anniversary, talking about the legends available and which one is worth for you the most. There's been a lot of changes to the Sugo-Fest with this new banner, so I'm going to talk about everything you need to know. And there is a certain part that Bandai is forcing us to pull on, which most players wouldn't even touch. So let's dive straight in. So I suppose the first thing we should talk about is the fact that Emu is on the final part. So most people will be going for this character. They're gonna have to wait until the 8th, which is when part 1's gonna come out. But this part is only gonna come out on the 15th. Oh wait, never mind, my bad. It's the 13th of May, 1900 PST. Part 1 will come out on the 8th, which is today at 1900 PST. Part 2 is the 9th, the 10th, 11th, 12th, and the 13th. So if you are going for Emu, you're gonna have to wait quite a while, but I do recommend saving and don't pull on part 1 because it is very easy to get shafted on part 1. And don't get fooled thinking, okay, all of the legends are on part 1, so I have a high chance of getting at least one of them. That's not how it works. It's always been like this. Part 1 just splits the rate between the 6 characters, or the 5 characters, should I say. So let's say, for example, the chances of you pulling Emu on part 6 is 0.5%. The chances of you pulling each individual character here is going to be 0.1%. So in total, you have the same chances. The only benefit of having all of the characters here is that if you pull 2 new debut characters in the same multi, there's a good chance it's going to be 2 different ones. But regardless, I wouldn't say part 1 is usually worth it because every legend in the game is available here. Every regular legend, every Super Sugo unit, even the older ones. It is a massive shaft that is waiting to happen. You can get all these super old characters that no one wants. Whereas on part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's only going to be 30 legends available, and all of them are curated to be really good characters. So I highly recommend going on the individual parts. However, they did change the steps on part 1 dramatically from what we usually know. Usually on any Sugo-Fest in the entire game, the steps only go up to step 30. Beyond that, there's no steps, no additional rewards. We call this the jungle. So if a character, or if a whale pulls really far and they finish the entire banner but they continue pulling, they enter the jungle, which is essentially where you never want to go. However, they now extend the jungle to 60 steps. So if you have 3,000 gems, you can finish part 1 entirely. Now, nowhere in part 1 are you guaranteed the new legend, so keep that in mind. If you are going all in on a part, I recommend another part because you are not guaranteed any of the new characters here. And step 30, which is where on the other parts you get the new character guaranteed, you just get a Super Sugo-Fest unit. That's it. Just a Super Sugo unit. It could be Gold Roger, who is the oldest and worst Super Sugo unit. Well, I wouldn't say he's the worst, but he is the oldest. He's not really good anymore. You could literally get Gold Roger here, or V1 Odin. It's terrible. So I highly recommend do not go deep on part 1. However, you have to do at least 3 multis here because you get 4 new ships, a ship for each of the 4 emperors. It's really crucial that you get these ships because they have the most damage output in the entire game. If you are planning on touching Super Boss, you want to have these new ships, right? We can actually take a look at these abilities in a separate video, but it is 150 gems for 4 ships, which is 100% worth it. So you have to do at least 3 multis on part 1 here. As you can see on step 3, you get the 4 ships. But besides that, there is a lot of guaranteed legend steps, which is great. There is rate boosted character steps. Rate boosted units are rare recruits as well, not just legends. So of course the new rare recruits are going to be rate boosted. I will be talking about all the new rare recruits in a separate video, so keep a lookout for that. But part 3 here, as you can see here, the rate boosted characters are going to be mainly the new rare recruits. So it is a very good chance of getting one of these characters, which is great. And it seems like the new Figurlin is a support only character. I'm very interested in that, but I will talk about it in a separate video, of course. On part 1, if you do pull a legend and it's on the rate boosted step, then you are guaranteed one of these legends here. So either Emu, the new characters, these Annie exclusives, these treasure map exclusives, Nami Karina, still one of the best characters in the entire game. One of these regular legends, Nika Bonnie. No, these guys are not rate boosted. These are just all these Super Sugos that are available. So one of these characters you're guaranteed if you pull a rate boosted legend on one of these steps. So yeah, it is guaranteed that you're going to get a rate boosted legend here, but there is a 15% chance that this will be a raid as well, which will be one of those characters I mentioned. You also get a ton of Rainbow Tavern medals all over the show, so in total you're probably getting like 2 free multis from all the Rainbow Tavern medals you're getting back. Super Sugo steps, of course, but overall, beyond step 3, not worth it. Part 2 to 6. As you can see, we also have the regular legend steps as well as rate boosted or legend. And then the main difference is that step 5 and step 10 are going to be limited and super limited pulls respectively, which is so good. The reason that this is not on part 1 is because we have this step, which is every legend, every single poster is a legend guaranteed, which is probably the main draw when it comes to this part. Step 20 is 50% chance, which is way worse than the step 10. Like, I wouldn't hold you if you go to step 10 on part 1. I think after that the value dramatically declines. But when it comes to part 2, the super limited pool is really restricted down to only 8 legends. So you essentially have a 12.5% chance of that super limited character being the new unit. Even if it's not, it's going to be like really good units here. So both the limited and super limited pools are just really good, and they are going to repeat. And even if you're going on part 2 to 6, you still have access to the amazing step 50% chance of every character being a legend, which we've never seen before on parts 2 to 6. Usually this step is not available. So like, no matter what, I would say part 2 to 6 is worth it beyond the 3rd step on part 1. But now that we've talked about the banners itself, let's talk about the legends that are available. And one thing you do need to note is that we do get a free multi for the new banner, which is going to include all 6 legends, all 5 of them actually. It is a 5% legend rate base rate, not the 3x that is going to be on the actual banners, but there's a chance that you're going to pull one of these new units for free, which is just mind-blowing, right? Okay, so let's take a look at part 1 first of all, which does include every unit in the game, but these characters that are rate boosted, they mean that these characters have a really good rate, right? I've looked at the rates in the past. Part 1 always has insane rate for these units. So of course all the new units are rate boosted, which is of course what we expect. Now on the anniversary exclusive side of things, we have Zoro versus Lucci. Still an amazing character. The Snake, she's only really used in Rumble, and even then she does have replacements. This 6-star Zoro is really not that good these days. He is not a bad character, but he's never used and terrible in Rumble. This waifu's character is really good in both the 6+ form and the 6-star form. They're essentially 2 separate characters. So if you already have the 6+ version, it's not going to hurt you whatsoever to get the 6-star version, because you use this character on the Strength Rumble team, you use the 6+ version on the Int Rumble team. So this character is very good. In total, you need 20 copies of the unit to get both the 6-star and the 6+ version at level 150. So best to start now. You definitely will not be disappointed if you see this character appear. Sabo, easily one of the worst characters of last year. Very restrictive and not really good. He used to be great in the treasure map before it got updated, but with the new update, he's not really that good. Nami Karina, as I said, still one of the best characters in the game. She has 2 specials which do completely different things, and in total, this character gets around almost every status effect in the entire game. It's just insane. And as a captain, she guarantees extra drops and also doubles berries earned in quest. So yeah, overall, just like an incredible character, used as captain very frequently in quests, in treasure map, and in PKA, and also still really usable in Rumble. Then we have Van Ogre, not really good. He doesn't synergize with the new Blackbeard. Yamato Otama, very mid. This Kuma gets around Blowaway. He's not a bad character whatsoever. This Miok's a great sub. Carrot 1 is pretty bad. The rest of these units are pretty bad as well. This Hancock isn't terrible, but not very good. And then it's just every single Super Sugo unit. So none of these are rate boosted. Let me not talk about them. But when we go to part 2 here, the new Luffy is available. Now, it's very much like the consensus is that this guy is the most underwhelming of the new units. In my opinion, I don't think he's the worst. I think Blackbeard's the worst, or Buggy. But he's still really broken. Like, just because he's the worst doesn't mean he's a bad legend. He's like still top 10 in legend in the game, 100%. And if you especially have versus Zoro from Zoro versus Nustro and the new Rumble Ace, you want this guy so bad, right? Jupiter also will go so well with this new Luffy. You can also use this new Kizaru. So you have like a whole Rumble team here, right? If you have Ace and Zoro versus Nustro, and you get these 3 characters, you have a whole Rumble team already, which is just insane, right? Marine Ace, if you have the new Rumble Ace, he's not going to be really used in Rumble. He's still very powerful. He does so much damage, and he can be used in GP as GP leader, in Grand Party, I mean. He's a great character in regular content as well. The value of this unit will never diminish, in my opinion, but there are better options nowadays. Kid versus Law, Kid and Law, this character is not bad whatsoever. Very old Super Sugo unit, but still a great sub. Same for Rush Sanji, but this guy has kind of fallen off. He doesn't do enough nowadays. And then we have Foam Red Shanks. This character is not good. He is very restricted by enemy immunities, which stops him from doing his whole gimmick. So yeah, definitely not a great character these days. Then we have anniversary exclusives. So Zoro versus Nustro, yeah, everyone's here. You can get Zoro versus Nustro, the new Luffy, Jupiter, Kizaru, Marine Ace. That's an entire Rumble team. Even if you didn't pull the new Rumble Ace, you can get an entire Dex Rumble team on this banner alone, bro. It's just so good. Swordsman Nami, this character is the best berry farming captain in the game. Amazing in Super Boss. Gives enemy increased damage taken and the weakness status, which works so well together to give you multiple times of damage. She reduces enemy defensive effects by 6 turns, gives you matching orbs, not just matching orbs, but tandem orbs, so you can perform super tandem. What else is she doing? She's also giving you a base attack boost. Yeah, this character is just broken, man. This unit is broken. Definitely want to get her if you don't have her. Odin and the Akazaya Samurai, this unit is one of the most underrated in the game. I've used him multiple times to clear PKA level 200. So much damage, so much utility. The captain shift is so good with this unit. Their captain ability gets around special rewind, gives you 1-0 orbs, a massive amount of damage. They have super tandem themselves, which is pretty easy to proc. Overall, just like a broken unit in my opinion. Cross Guild, still used in Rumble a bit, but definitely not as much anymore. In regular content, still a very powerful unit, but I wouldn't worry about them too much. This ace is horrible. This ace is pretty good. I recently used him for speed farming XP with the new anniversary ship. His special is very powerful. It can do like 5 million damage. He's not very often used though. He's a bit of a niche character, but he's quite powerful overall. I definitely wouldn't worry if you get him. He's not good in Rumble though, unfortunately. Rokugyu got a recent Rumble buff, so he's decent in Rumble. They recently have started to give Slotbind a lot more in quests, so this utility is very powerful. If you don't have Nami and Vivi, the recent regular legend, this character is not going to hurt to have whatsoever. And as I said, he's quite usable in Rumble now. Sai Bonnie, she's a treasure map legend, so She has innate value. She can be used on any treasure map, but it's not a crazy unit by any means. Now, when it comes to the regular legends, I'm going to go through these really quick since they're not as important. So Frankie, great unit. Garp, mid unit, decent support. Sai Bonnie, mid unit, good support. Dory Broggy, terrible unit. This Bonnie, terrible unit. This unit only good as a support ability, great for a chain boost. Robin and Koala, great unit, also used in co-op. So co-op starting tomorrow, you might even use this character tomorrow. Whitebeard versus Blackbeard. The versus Whitebeard form is broken. I still think this unit's amazing. The versus Blackbeard form sucks, but I do think this unit's heavily underrated, especially for how old he is. Rayleigh and Gaban, not a terrible unit. This Whitebeard is horrible. This Chopper is a great captain for getting around, giving you extra cotton candy. So if you don't have the side Chopper from the metal exchange, then you want this character. Also not a terrible special, but nowhere near as good as the side chopper in my opinion. Then we have Sasaki, horrible unit, basically no utility and very bad damage as well. Brachio tank used in Grand Voyage, but that's about it. And that's about it. Very, very good overall, I'd say. Especially the super limited pool. Everyone here besides Garp and maybe Ace is a massive win if you don't have them. Now, what about part 2? Part 3. We have Nika Bonnie here. Innate value here. Just at a first glance, this is pretty good part. We have, of course, the new Shanks, who actually does synergize well with the Nika Bonnie. So this is already a great combo here. We have what's his face? God Valley crew, Rocks Pirates, yeah. This unit's pretty fallen off. They are never used these days, but they are a powerful unit nevertheless. Whitebeard Ace, this character is still really good in Super Boss. I highly recommend getting this character. They also work with some very cool level limit broken rare recruits, so that's really fun and gimmicky. Blackbeard versus Law. The versus Blackbeard variant I still use in Pirate Rumble. He does have an HP guard which gets around all of the HP reducing mechanics, including pain, instant burn, what else? Bleed. This character is very good. The versus Law variant I never use, but versus Blackbeard is great in regular content and in Rumble. He provides insane damage over time. Let me just explain this for a second. This is crazy. So if you look at his special, it gives enemies level 10 damage over time in Pirate Rumble for 15 seconds. If you don't know what damage over time is, each level takes 5% of the enemy's maximum HP every time they perform a normal attack. So level 10 is 50% of their HP every time they perform a normal attack. Now he only inflicts this in he only inflicts 3 enemies with this, and it's only for 15 seconds. So it's physically impossible for this to activate twice and kill the enemy with 2 hits of this. But regardless, that is a massive amount of dot damage, and he also delays these enemies, so it's hard for them to use their special, meaning it's higher likelihood that they do a normal attack and get hit by the dot damage. Easily the most broken dot unit in the entire game. Then we have and he's still pretty usable in Super Boss if you want to use him there, especially if you're a new player. Roger Odin, only good as a support. Then we have Gear 5 Luffy. Most players have him already, but if you don't, he's still a really solid unit. Gets around basically every piece of content in the game, but terrible for Super Boss. He doesn't do a lot of damage. And as I said in the previous video, there are a lot of characters that provide the ability to go through defensive effects these days, so he's not as special anymore. Kaido versus Yamato. The versus Yamato is still used sometime on quick Super Boss, so not a terrible unit to have. Versus Kaido sucks. Uta, still an amazing character. Gets around special rewind and paralysis as the captain, I think. Yep. Very powerful. The special gives you a massive attack and orb boost every single turn for 3 turns. Which is really good. Very unique unit as well. And also has 3 variations that you can get by super evolving her, which makes her very versatile. Now we have the new Blackbeard Kuzan. This unit's quite hard to use, but if you have the rest of the Blackbeard Pirates, go ahead and get them. But If you don't have a lot of the other new Blackbeard pirates, this unit's hard to use. Dragon Ivankov Kuma, great in Rumble, not so much in regular content. Then we have the Roger pirates, not bad in grand co-op, should I say. Not very good in Rumble, can be used though, but not that crazy. Just a very mid and any exclusive overall, in I would say. This Blackbeard does provide the ability to go through defensive effects, but he's quite hard to use. He's pretty nice to have though. This Kid Luffy, I've used him like twice before for normal content. He's a bit hard to use, but he is quite interesting. He's kind of similar to Uta, where he provides buffs over multiple stages, which is pretty cool. Then we have the treasure map units. Buggy, not bad. He's still great in treasure map, especially if you have the Kakuluchi treasure map legend and the Instasi treasure map legend. This guy goes really well with him. Kobe, not a bad unit overall. I've used him quite a few times in treasure maps. He's helped me a lot. Nami Carrot, one of the best treasure map legends in the entire game. Just does so much utility, provides so much damage, provides matching orbs, great swap effect for reducing enemy defensive effects, and also healing. Very, very good. You can also use the recovery orbs from the super swap to get around hunger status. Kuma, really bad unit, very restrictive. This Vegapunk, one of the worst releases in the game ever. Horrible unit. This Nami is fairly usable, but not used too much. Pretty bad in Rumble. Not used so much in regular content, and not good for Super Boss either. Uta, great in Rumble, pretty good in regular content, nice character. Gop, terrible in regular content, used to be good in Rumble, but now with Emu disabling his death hit, he's pretty bad. Lilith is still a great character, good utility in the captain effect, powerful special. This Uta, not bad. She's like a more watered down version of this Uta, even though she came out afterwards. It's very weird. Izo, horrible unit. Hawkins, horrible unit. Corazon-in-Law, horrible unit. Yasuf and Usopp, used to be amazing, but all they do is give a conditional boost through immunities. Like, they are merchant. They only do conditional boosts. They do provide base attack as well. But yeah, horrible unit these days. Not terrible, let me be real. Beckman and Lucky Aru, horrible units. Black Maria, horrible unit with an insane sailor ability. One of the best sailor abilities in the entire game, I can't lie. 2 turns of paralysis reduction for your entire crew innately. It's really powerful, but her special is terrible, so it's not worth running her anyway. So that's about it for part 3. I would say part 3 is pretty good. Mainly thing carrying it is Nikabani, and Shanks is just really good. The Super Sugo units I think are really good. The Annie exclusives are a bit of a miss. The treasure map units are great. The regular legends are also not terrible, but a lot of them are really stinkers. Part 4 though, let's take a look. So we do have Luffy Zoro Sanji, which is the Annie unit from last year. This unit still provides really good damage, a decent amount of utility, despair and paralysis in the special, but the captain I think doesn't do any utility. Still a really powerful sub. I wouldn't say an insane captain nowadays though. Of course, the new Blackbeard, he is very broken. He has the ability to go through enemy defensive effects. He has massive, I think, color affinity. Let me quickly check. I can't remember. Oh yeah, it is a color affinity. Yeah, very powerful color affinity. Removes enemy defense up, which is the only enemy defensive effect besides resilience that cannot be ignored by this effect. So very powerful. He also defense down the enemy to 0, proccing conditional boosts. Yeah, he's just a very powerful unit. He doesn't need to be ran with other Blackbeard pirate units, which is, I think, the most important part. Besides that, we have V2 Saturn, who's going to be so good with the new Emu. Walkyrie, not a terrible unit, but probably the second worst out of the 5 elders. Besides, I think, V1 Saturn, I would say, is worse than this guy, but he's still not bad whatsoever. Not still used in Rumble quite a bit. He might run really well with this new Blackbeard. Not might, he will. We're gonna have a banger quick team here, guys. And then we also have versus Luffy versus Kaido. Versus Kaido isn't very good. He still provides pretty good utility though. but never really used. Versus Luffy, I use this guy so much in a PKA level 200. He provides ridiculous damage, even though he's like 2 to 3 years old now. He provides the territories, so we need to consider this. Because remember, the new Blackbeard, he provides a quick territory, but you still need to provide a free spirit territory from somewhere. And this Luffy is the way. He provides a 310 territory, so just like Blackbeard's territory, this will last over multiple stages. He reduces attack down and provides a conditional boost, things that Blackbeard does not provide. A chain boundary, Blackbeard does not provide. Enemy increased damage taken through all immunities, Blackbeard does not provide. This unit is so good synergy with the new Blackbeard. And he also reduces burn as a captain and bind, also things that Blackbeard does not reduce. Like, this is the... I didn't even realize that this is such an insane hybrid, bro. This is like a broken hybrid. Super tandem boost. This guy also has a really good last step, so getting dupes is also really valuable. It essentially just adds the entire damage that you've done in the turn as extra damage. It's just crazy. There's so much for the team. Zoro versus Sanji, Zoro and Sanji, this character was distributed for free from story mode, but the super tandem is not bad to level up. Big Mom, horrible unit. Zoro, he's still decent. He's sometimes used in Super Boss against Strength. This Kaido is nowhere near good these days. Any exclusives? Okay, Yamamomo. This character is not bad whatsoever. Does also provide a free spirit territory, I think. No, slasher territory. So I think this character actually goes well with one of the other 4 emperors, which is Buggy. Yeah, this character goes really well with Buggy. Buggy provides the int territory, and then you need the slasher territory. Yamamomo overall is decent in Rumble if you have the full slasher striker team, which includes Kaido, Big Mom, the Dual Legend, the Raizo Shinobu from Kizuna, all these very exclusive legends. And even then, the team isn't too crazy, and especially will not compete in the current meta with the 12th Anni units. But he does do quite a bit. He's not a terrible legend, and as I said, he'll synergize amazingly with Buggy. Karasumole, one of the best treasure map legends in the game. This unit does so much, especially if you have the other Rev Army characters. You can make a very good Rumble team as well. Besides that, that's it for part 4. I think part 4 is very strong. If I had to rank them so far, I think part 2 is the best. Part 4 here is the second best, and part 3 is the worst, even though Nikabani is there. Honestly, just because Shanks is like the best of the 4 emperors and we have Nikabani here, I can't put this as the worst part so far. And also versus Blackbeard, all these amazing characters. I'll say part 4 is the worst so far, which is hard to say, but new Blackbeard isn't the best any unit. The legends here aren't as crazy as part 3, so I'll say that is the worst part so far. We also have very cool units like Momo here, but he's going to be given out for free from a selectable pool in the mail. Same for a lot of these characters here, and none of these are that crazy. So definitely the weakest regular pool, I'd say. Besides that, let's move on to the second final part, which is part 5. Oh my goodness, part 5 is looking broken, bro. Oh my days. We have a whole ink team here once again. Like on part 2 we have a whole dex team. On part 5 we have a whole int team. We have Buggy, Kuma, Roger Eligaban, Oyo and Yamato. Unfortunately, not another character here, but four insane characters for the int team are really good here. Roger Eligaban is probably the worst one out of these, or perhaps it's Oyo and Yamato. The whole thing with Oyo and Yamato is you want her to use her death hit and die very quick, but with all the new characters, it's very easy to counter her, especially with Emu. So yeah, her and Roger Eligaban, who both rely on death hits, aren't as good. The new Kuma is negated by the new Shanks. Or should I say New Year's Kuma is negated by the new 12th Anni Shanks. The whole thing with this guy is that he charges his special at the start of the quest, but Shanks delays everyone at the start of the quest, right? New Buggy, I think, is really good. He does a lot. Once again, you do want to have the Cross Guild Legend from the end of month batch, the Crocodile and Mihawk. By the way, let me talk about this as a side note. Like, this is really predatory, bro. They want you to pull before Annie because they revealed all the information quite early. And just look at all the banners that are out. I think they might be gone by this day. No, still here. Rumble Ace, insane with the new Luffy. Burgess Shiryu, insane with the new Blackbeard. Crocodile Milk, broken with the new Buggy. And then we have Beckman Yasop, insane with the new Shanks. Like, this is so predatory, bro. Like, this Kizuna Sugo should have been like gone like a week to 2 weeks ago already, but they know that people are gonna pull there now that we know that these characters work so well with the new Annie for Empress. This is also another reason why I think you should pull for Emu, because you can pull all of the 5 elders on this banner, the banner here, which is all you need for Emu, right? You can run, of course, the new 4 Emperors under Emu, but the 5 elders work really well with new Emu as well. So in terms of completing the team, Emu is also just really good for beginners, right? But anyways, a bit of a side tangent there. Now, what about part 5? The rest of part 5, should I say. So we have 10th Anni Shanks, still a really powerful unit, can be used in Super Boss as well. Great captain, great sub. Yamato and Luffy, this unit has heavily fallen off, should I say. Also, I forgot to mention, but Oro and Yamato is also crazy in Super Boss. She does so much if you're running a full team of Free Spirits or full team of Cerebrals. She also just reduces any status icon effect that you have as a debuff by 10 turns. Like, the enemy can give you a massive special limiter, which is probably going to be in a lot of content this month because of the new units that get around it, or any kind of debuff that has a icon. But anyways, this Luffy is pretty terrible. Usable, but yeah, just not that good. Let's be real. Not terrible in regular content, not terrible in Rumble, but not great in either, right? What else here? Star Nami, still really powerful, I would say. She gets around like massive amounts of paralysis, and you actually want to get inflicted with the paralysis because it charges her own special. So in certain quests, if the enemy gives you paralysis twice, like for say on stage 3 and on stage 5, it's very easy that you can use a special of this unit at least twice in the quest, which is really powerful special as well. Cooldown, damage reduction, resilience reduced by 7 turns. She does AoE damage. She inflicts the enemy with paralysis through immunities, which can be used to proc a conditional attack boost, massive chain boost, and massive base attack boost. And then the super class removes threshold as well and gives herself a super tandem orb, and then also provides the conditional boost for the paralysis. And you can also use the super class to wave clear using AoE damage. And as I said, since she charges her special through the enemy giving you paralysis, she doesn't need to stall for her special, which is really low cooldown even in the first place, 12 turns. She also has a really powerful super tandem and a broken special that just removes everyone's paralysis by turn and gives everyone a turn of cooldown when you get inflicted with paralysis, attaching to all the Straw Hats and Yamato. I've used the support effect countless times. Just so good. Still a broken unit even though she's like 4 years old, or 3 years old, should I say. Yamato is still used in co-op sometimes. Not a bad unit by any means. Also used in Grand Voyage against Kuro, but that's about it. Not a crazy unit. Any exclusives? Garp and Kobe. I've gotten this unit and used them over the last 2 months quite frequently. In Rumble, you can only use them if you have all of the other sword characters, like Rare Recruit Halmepo, Legend Hibari, the Kujaku from the Pirate Rumble banner, the Prince Grus from the Pirate Rumble banner as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you need a lot of different characters for this unit to work in Pirate Rumble. But in regular content, this unit's very powerful. They have a special to reduce Despair and Threshold and give massive damage. And then you can also use the X Super, even as a sailor, to remove enemy orb damage reduction, which is a very annoying effect to get around. And then also reduce his own cooldown. So you can use his special multiple times in the quest, also to get around special rewind, since he does reduce his own rewind. His super swap is pretty bad, but that's the only gripe I have with him in regular content. Very powerful. Luffy Lucci, insane in Rumble. Still one of the best DPS units, and also really powerful in regular content as well. Very strong captain and gets around special rewind as a captain. Special gives it a target status to the enemy, which goes through immunities. This Roger, he's not bad. He's still the best XP farming captain in the game in terms of the multiplier. He also boosts berries earned. So in terms of balance, he gets around special bind and also provides these effects, which is really powerful as a captain. He's a very hard to proc his X super, like ridiculously hard. And his special is quite powerful. But I mean, he's not that crazy these days, but he does provide a really strong special if he is the captain. Treasure map exclusives, all three of these are kind of bum units, if I'm being honest, which I hate to say. Tashigi's great as a support. Atlas is not bad. She provides the effect to evade enemy defensive effects, but only to herself, which is just not enough. You need at least 2 units to have that effect for it to actually be good enough damage. This Blackbeard, I hate to say he's bad, but yeah, he was my favorite unit years ago, but yeah, he's really fallen off. All he does is provide a chain boundary, and he calls it a day. He also gets around bind, but that's about it. Brook, this unit does a lot. He's really good still, I'd say. Mr. One, terrible. Usopp Lilith is still, like, I would say the best regular legend in the entire game. But we are getting this character for free from the selectables, so do not think that you can only get this unit here. Everyone will give this unit for free, right? Sword unit, still pretty good, but a bit hard to use. Momo, horrible. Komurasaki, mid. Momo, great in co-op, very good special, terrible captain, not good in rumble. Shanks Buggy, horrible unit overall. Queen, I think, is heavily underrated, very strong unit, especially as a captain. Hiyori, great as a sailor to give everyone 1 orbs at the start of the quest, great special for utility, but no damage. Not really good anymore with the new treasure map update. Zoro versus Zoro and Sanji. This unit should get a 6+ soon, but one of the worst releases in the entire game. Kid, heavily fallen off, but he's still somewhat usable. Odin, horrible. Used to be a god in Power Rumble. Not good anymore, but he could get a 6+ very soon and become a top tier side DPS in Rumble. Speaking of which, side team is the only one that wasn't buffed in the 12th anniversary update, which is very interesting. That's about it for part 5. I would say this one's very powerful. Like, generally all these units, like the regular legends, are quite powerful. The treasure map units are very bad though. The Annie exclusives are powerful. The Snake Man is still a great DPS for strength team and pretty good in regular content as well. Does a lot of damage. Also has a great sailor ability. Tokyo Odin, only good in co-op, but even then has a lot of replacements. So I would say the Super Sugos are very powerful. The Annie exclusives are very powerful. Treasure map units are mid. The regular legends are probably the best batch out of all the parts. Definitely the second weakest part though. At the end, I will rate every part in terms of value. Now part 6, we have my boy Emu with the 5 elders. Okay, so first off, we have V1 Saturn, which is way worse than the V2 Saturn. Regardless, it is a Saturn, still can work really well with the new Emu, of course. Marcus Mars, easily the best out of the first generation elders. This unit is still insane in Rumble. Very good in regular content as well. Provides a full board of tandem orbs through block. Massive conditional boost that will never age. As a captain, can stack conditional boost on top of each other. Gets around enemy damage limiter, which, as I say, is not very good anymore, because Emu does reduce enemy damage limiter with the special. So when you're using Emu special twice, which is possible when you're running the 4 emperors as subs, because each emperor gives the captain 5 turns of cooldown, and at max that'll give Emu 20 turns of cooldown in 1 turn, which is really crazy. So it is very much possible to use Emu special twice in the same turn, even without running double Emu captain. So yeah, the damage limiter in the captain effect isn't that crazy, but overall he's still really powerful, I'd say. He also gets around despair, I think, in the special. Nustro gets around this enemy defense up and bind. Provides a massive attack and orb boost, only to himself, unfortunately. But if you do use the effect to stack attack and orb boosts, and you use a universal attack and orb boost before Nustro, and it stacks when you use the Nustro special, it will take the boost effect of the base attack and orb boost. So even though Nustro's attack and orb boost is only to himself, it will apply to the whole crew when it kind of merges with a other attack and all boost, if that makes sense. So there are ways to make this guy really good, but it's a bit hard to do. But he can be used. Still pretty good DPS on Psy Rumble team as well. V1 in Saturn gets around attack down, damage reduction. Not good in a Pirate Rumble anymore. Not a terrible unit for Int Super Boss team. V5 Gear 5 V2. This unit is still so broken. 10 turns of bind, 10 turns of threshold, massive base attack boost, and a massive attack boost up to 4x. Also increases existing orb boost by 1.5x. So if you have a 4x orb boost, then this will buff it up to 6x. Is that crazy? Yes, it is. Also gives a full board of into orbs, which cannot be changed by the enemy. It is just so broken. As a captain, he's also really good, very powerful, and gets around despair. Extends attack boosts, gives 3 charges for your versus effect and switch effect gauges, 2 turns of cooldown. X Super provides a class change for characters, which can be so versatile, and a color affinity boost. He has an incredible rush ability. Yeah, this unit's just still broken. Amazing on Rumble still as well. Not used as much, but still a really good option. Dual Yamato still used in Super Boss sometimes, but not really good. Terrible in Rumble as well. Kaido, only really used for story mode farming, let's be real. This Robin, she was a victim to the conditional boost stacking effect being introduced into the game. That's all she really does, so not very good. This Luffy, not terrible, but never used. Kaido Big Mom, very restrictive unit, hard to use. I have a, it's very difficult to use that unit. Zoro and Kaku, this unit's very much overshadowed by Luffy Lucci. I never use this character, but on paper, not a terrible unit whatsoever. Definitely an asset to have. Kaido Alba, amazing unit, captain shift. There's so much in the special. Not a very good captain though. At the end of the day, very easy to charge the special effect as well, since the captain shift gives him 3 turns of cooldown. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're running him as double captains, you can get around Despair entirely and use him to get around Special Rewind. He does give 2 turns of cooldown somewhere here. Unless I'm tweaking. No, it's the super class. The super class gives 2 turns of cooldown to Driven Powers, reduces Special Bind. Very powerful effect. He also has the special limit uses reduction by 3 turns, which will be very relevant in this month of content. So yeah, this unit is very good. Also available in the Metal Exchange. So maybe if you are going to get this guy from the Metal Exchange, first pull here if you want to pull for Emu, and see if you get him here, because you don't want to buy him from the Metal Exchange and then pull him here. But I'll talk about the Metal Exchange update in a separate video. This Kobe is still great on Strength Rumble teams, but pretty bad in regular content. V1 Akazaya Samurai, pretty bad because you need a full team of splashes for him to do anything. Now, the treasure map exclusives, easily the best out of every batch. Wow. Stasi and Luchikaku, these synergize so well together. Luchikaku, second best treasure map legend in the game after Nami and Karina. So much value, so much good speed farming. Incredible captain, incredible sub. Not getting a Rumble though, unfortunately. Sai Jumbe, not a terrible unit. Still a decent option in treasure map. Figulin Garling, unfortunately, doesn't work with the new emo, since they both get around Special Bind as the captain, and this guy is not worth running as a sub because he doesn't do much besides providing an all boost. Alba, intensely good captain, an amazing sub, still an amazing regular legend, definitely worth getting. Halloween Uta, not bad in Rumble, decent in regular content. This character here is a pretty good sub, provides a conditional boost through immunity that is self-procced, and also provides burn and bind reduction as a sub. Very powerful. This unit is horrible, one of the worst releases in the game. All they do is provide crit rate increase and a final tap buff. This unit was a victim to those 2 buffs being introduced, and they do nothing else. Horrible unit, worse than most rare recruits in the game. Kandro, also such a forgettable unit, really doesn't do much. Black Maria and Ulti, not a bad unit. Terrible in Rumble though, and never used. V1 Alba, this unit, He's not a terrible captain. Pretty good special as well. Not a bad character to have whatsoever. This Big Mom, trash. Ulti, great captain. Conditional boost 3 immunities. And it's self-procced. But you need her to be the captain to get the conditional boost, which is very stupid. But she's not a terrible captain. She reduces despair. And she does boost all fighter and powerhouse units. Special's pretty good as well. Just a very solid unit overall. Very valuable to have. Not very valuable, but decent value, especially if you're a new player. Who's Who, not a terrible sub. 2 tons of cooldown to everyone, but he doesn't provide a lot of damage and not much utility otherwise. Not getting a rumble either. Never used these days. Marco, still the best XP farming captain. Same multipliers as Roger, but he provides insane wave clearing capabilities. Such a good unit for speed farming, especially now that Auto Plus was introduced, because you can use the super class thanks to the Auto Plus feature, and then his special activates automatically, giving more turns of wave clear. Especially if you're running double Marco, you essentially get 3 turns or 3 stages wave cleared with the Auto Plus, because you use the super class with the Auto Plus ability, and then the 2 specials from the captains activate automatically. Still super good, amazing unit. Dofi, he super evolves into a decent unit. Great in Rumble still. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Now let me rate these parts. Emu's 100% the best part. Not even taking into account that Emu is just the best of the new characters. The units available are also just the best. Besides that, I would say... Let's take a look here. I would say part 2 is the second best. There's just so many good units here that synergize so well together. The versus Shanks here I didn't talk about, but he is so good with the new buggy as well. So definitely want to get him if you are going for buggy. Insabo still insane for Inter-Rumble team. Does so much damage to one character. Essentially guarantees you kill one enemy and gives haste to one of your other DPS. Still really powerful utility and damage unit. But overall, yeah, part 2 is just so broken. I mean, just look at the screen, bro. Look at all this. Just insane, bro. After that, I would say part 3 is the best because Nikabani Shanks is so good. These legends here are all really good besides Roger Odin and Kaido versus Yamato, I'd say. The Annie exclusives are okay. The treasure map units are great, but the main reason is just Nikabani, Shanks, and these Super Sugo units are just so good. Then I would say part 4 or part 5. Part 5 is better, hands down. Part 5 is the most balanced, I would say. Very good on terms of the regular legends. The treasure map units aren't terrible. They're usable supports at least. Who else? We have Kuma here. The fact that we have an entire Inter-Rumble team here is just so valuable, right? Just so well balanced. Everyone here is so good. So I'd say part 6 is the best. Part 2 is the second best. Part 3 is the third best. Part 5 is the fourth best. Part 4 is the worst. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I am satisfied with that ranking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But with all that being said, my throat is broken, guys. But I'll be making more videos talking about the new ships, talking about the new Grand Feast character. This Roger is so good. He's a must-have free-to-play unit, especially if you have Emu. Who else? I'm also going to talk about the new Metal Exchange update and whether or not you should be buying the golden tablets in the Rayleigh's Bazaar. Yeah, massive Metal Exchange update. Definitely should look at that if you are someone with a decent amount of Rainbow Tavern medals. I mean, just regular exchange medals. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. And I'm out.